Good day, my name is Craig and I will be hosting you. The topic is how Objectif Lune software can enhance your legacy systems. We are a small but global software company. We were founded back in 1994 with our head offices in Montreal, Canada, but our European head offices are in the Netherlands, and that's where I'm based. We operate through an indirect partner channel. The markets that we work in are diverse, so any organization that outputs transactional documents. We have just over 25,000 customers globally, and we have processed over 1.7 billion documents through our software as of last year. These are a handful of references throughout the Middle East, the Nordics, and Europe, and many of these companies are still running legacy systems because they opened many years ago. So what we do is we create software that helps companies better communicate with their customers. We improve the document capabilities of legacy and modern backend systems. We enable true multi-channel communications, and we make paper forms mobile. Our software technology is called OL Connect, and OL Connect is made up of three main components. The first is our data mapper, where we are able to extract and manipulate data from a variety of sources. From a legacy system, this will mostly be some type of a print spool file or some type of a print file. But it can also be PDFs, XML, CSV data, and much more. The second part is our designer. So we are a template-based software, and we can create these templates for print, email, PDF, and web. The reason we can do email and web is because our designer is built natively in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Our workflow component, the third part, is where all of the automation takes place. And this is where you can create a step-by-step document workflow based on business rules and logic. So where do we fit into your daily business? Well, you will likely have suppliers that you work with, and you'll be serving your own customers or clients. And in even any given part of the day, there will be some type of a transaction going on. You will either be processing inbound transactions like incoming invoices, or you will be delivering something and having a POD signed, so those are interactive transactions, or you will be printing or outputting large batches of outbound transactions like invoices or statements or something similar. So I would like to start with what we don't do. We do not do inbound transactions, so we do not do accounts payable applications. There are many other solutions on the market for that. That is not our specialty. But what we do and what we do very well is all of the outbound transactions. Especially if you have a legacy system, you are likely processing big batches of print jobs. And those are likely going to be some type of a transactional document like an invoice or a statement. So accounts receivable applications is our biggest strength, but not only these specific outbound documents, any documents that are created by you, so if you are producing your own picking or packing slips or labels, or if you are shipping documents and you're creating your own customs forms, anywhere where data is sitting on your system and you are outputting the documents. Besides the outbound, we also do interactive transactions. So these are documents like proof of delivery or any document used in field services. So this could be a delivery note that needs to get signed off. It could be a service report that a technician must have signed off by a customer, or financial agreements, anything else like that. So if you look at your daily business, there are probably a couple of manual processes taking place. Again, you have your legacy system. It is outputting some type of spool file. You're likely having that printed on some type of a impact printer, or you are outputting it to digital printers. If it's digital printers, you will likely have some type of virtual stationery. Once it's printed out, then you will do things like manually file those documents in physical storage. If you're not going to be doing it in physical storage, you will probably be scanning it and you will be indexing it and putting it into your document management software. At the same time, you could be manually folding and inserting into envelopes for postage. Or if you need to send emails, it's very often that the only way to get the data in those spool files into an email is if you actually print it out, scan it back in, and then attach it as a PDF to an email and send it out. So it's these manual document processes where we provide automation. The potential automation that we offer is you keep your system exactly as it is today, your ERP system or whatever legacy system you are using. We then grab the data from it in our software. We can then compose a document, and that document can be for printed purposes, digital printing. It can also drive finishing equipment. We can then create either an email or a web version of a document. Or we can push the document out to a mobile device to capture information on it and return it. What we add a lot of value to is archive. So if you have some type of an ECM or document management software, we can automatically archive soft copies of documents at any stage in the process, and any of these steps will be totally automated. When we focus on print, what we can do is we can take your existing documents or raw data, and we can create documents that are much more modern and much better looking. So basically, we can create new documents from raw data, or we can enhance or repurpose your existing documents, all for digital printing. So this will include features like variable data or barcodes. This is especially if you will be enveloping them and you want to take advantage of postal discounts, or if you're going to put a barcode on there for somebody to use their smartphone to scan. We can include business graphics, trans-promotional elements. So those will be advertisements or marketing messages based on some trigger in the data, also totally customized. If you're going to be using finishing equipment, we can put OMR marks for your inserters, or crop marks and bleed margins if you're going to be printing this multiple up and cutting it down. And anything else related to digital printing is built into the software. When you look at the automation around print, we can do load balancing. So this will be things like redirecting jobs based on size or error handling, or even based on location. So this is the functionality of switching printers depending on the task. So you can print the right document on the right printer at the right location and at the right time. We totally eliminate the need for pre-printed stationery. You likely have a lot of pre-printed letterheads, and that's difficult to manage. Somebody is responsible for loading those letterheads into all the different trays in all the printers, and all your staff must know which tray to print to so they can get the correct letterhead. You can get rid of all of that and just load white paper into your printers and use dynamic virtual stationery instead. But commonly, our software is used to automate repetitive tasks. A common application here is to run your big batch jobs on your printers after hours when the office is quiet and the printers aren't being used. But there's many other examples. Now, I've spoken a lot about print, but what about the other channels? Well, what we're capable of doing in our software in a single platform is create the print version, but we can also create a digital version of the same document. In this case, we have the invoice, but on the left-hand side, we have the invoice, but in an email version. As you can see, it doesn't need any barcodes on it. It's not going to be scanned. And we can put social media snippets in it. We can put a link to a payment portal. So this is a nice rich HTML email. And this is all about customer preference. If your customers prefer to receive their documents by email, you can accommodate them, or you can still print and post it to them. But even if they want their documents to be downloadable from their customer portal, we can also accommodate that. So enough talk, let me show you what the software looks like in action. So for demonstration purposes, I have a legacy system emulator. So this is our LOB, or line of business emulator, and you will notice the similarities. Most legacy systems are still very much text, or they look like DOS-based software. So me as the user, I now want to generate my invoices for this month. So I would usually, create a record set. I can highlight all of them, but for today, I'll just choose these 3 invoices already. We have a print button because any ERP or legacy system will have print functionality, and you don't need to make any changes to that. You can still print as per usual. Our software will intercept that print spool file, whether it's being sent to a printer or to a hot folder. We will be able to collect it. So you can see these documents have now been processed. So what I can do as the administrator is I can have a look at my activity log. Now, what you see here is totally optional. This is a visual representation of the automation that's happening in our software, but you could also use our software without this type of interactive interface. So you can see here that I've already processed a couple of invoices. These last three are the ones I've recently done. And you can see that I have set it up for some of them to be printed, emailed, SMS'd, and the SMS will have a download link in it, or through EDI. So you can see I have processed quite a number of these. And if we look at these two over here, this customer has wanted it in every channel, and this customer, everyone except the EDI. So let's have a look at this. The emails have been sent. So if I show you my inbox here, you'll see that I've received 3 new invoices. So if I open this up over here, so this is just a good looking HTML email. It's got some basic information here, but here I can view my invoice online. So if I click on that, it opens up my default web browser. I'm using Chrome. And once here it is, I can log in. Again, logging in is totally optional, or you can just display it. Once I open it up, I can see my invoice in a digital format. So you can see here, it's got transactions in it. It's got a currency. The currency is based on the country that I'm from. Here is my variable data. So if you had to look at another one of these over here, say for example, this one, this would have different information. So this is where the variable input comes in. So you can see I will have different information. And with all of these, I can download the PDF as well. So if I don't just want to view it online, if I, as the customer, want to print it out or store it digitally, I can download the PDF. Once I have the PDF, I can open it up. You can see here, all the sort of print parameters have been applied, and now I can download it or I can print it off. What I can also do as a user is I can change my preferences. So at the moment, I want everything print and posted to me and emailed, but what I can do is I can say, well, I don't want it posted to me anymore. I want it by email, but I also want it by SMS. So I can update my email address, or I can include my mobile number, and I can say update. And the next time that you as the customer generate your invoices, it'll now be sent by email and SMS instead. If I go back to my operator dashboard, you can see that the prints are orange, so they are being queued. So what I can do is I can go to my print queue. This will show me all the documents that are waiting to be released. Again, this is optional. You can have them waiting for approval, or you can automatically have them released. So I have 2 jobs ready, so I can highlight this one, and I can say print. Now, when I click print here, this will, in the background, in our workflow tool, you'll already have a pre-configured workflow that has all the conditions already in it for releasing that print job based on the size of the document, the number of pages. It knows which printer it's going to, or if it's not going to a printer, it'll at least send it to your print management software in the form of a hot folder. So you can see that it's disappeared, and now I have a new batch job. So again, this is just for example, but I can open this batch job, and it shows me all the documents for this batch, which will be a handful of invoices, similar to the one that you've seen. So this one is only a batch of 3 documents. There they are over there. And you can see a number of variable elements, some barcodes, there are statuses, and also the currency changes according to which country. So these are delivery notes. So you can see that it's got signatures in it. It's got a couple of images from the maps, etc. Wonderful. So now I can go back to my presentation. So that's a very brief example of the software and how it's able to take raw data from a legacy system and totally automate the distribution of documents in a variety of formats. The next step that I want to introduce is our module for our software, and it's called Capture on the Go. This is where we can make paper forms mobile. So Capture on the Go is our very own app. You can download it from the iOS app or Windows app stores. And it works the same as the rest of our software. We will still grab data coming from your ERP system. We will still compose a document in our Connect software. The difference now is instead of sending it to a printer or instead of emailing it, we will send it to our own app. Then the user, so the driver or the technician, etc., he can open it on his mobile device and he'll have a form. And because it's an app, you can make use of all of the features of the mobile device. So in this form, you can take pictures of damages as an example. You can let the customer sign on glass. You can have geolocation and a time and date stamp so you can keep track of positioning or routes. You can scan barcodes using the camera. But also if you want to capture information, you can do things like enter text, select from drop-down menus, choose checkboxes, and much more. Once I'm done with this document, I can then submit it. And what happens is it goes back into our software. And once it's in our software, you can do a variety of things. You can send an email copy to somebody. You can automatically archive that in a digital format in your ECM or your document management software, and many more. But again, let me show you how it actually works. So I have my own Capture on the Go. I am running it on my own Windows platform. So here it is over here. And in my library, I have a couple of documents that are ready. So you can see here, I have some timesheets, I have some membership applications, I have some patient information. So this example over here, if I open this one, you'll see that this is for a patient arriving at a hospital. I can capture all of my information and you can automate all these questions with simple check boxes, and then I can submit this. I can also sign over here. But if I go back one, the repair shop, this is for a technician working in this is a service ticket for a technician working in a workshop. You can see that it's already been populated with data, so I don't have to fill in everything. You can pre-populate documents. It's already got all the custom information. I know which work has to be done. The ticket information has already been loaded into the form. So what I can do is I can just immediately start entering my own information over here. For example, what has the work been done? I can put in a job number. I can fill in information over here. Or I can do things like take pictures of goods and much more. So let's go to a event registration. So this is somebody arriving at an event. I can just quickly fill in some basic information. And I can say, I'm a manager, my company is OL, my email is NLC, and I'm going to make a mistake here at eu.objectiflune.com. My phone number, I'll just put in some random numbers. Am I existing customer? No. And if I try to submit, it will give me an error. So this has got all the usual functionality that you can expect from a form like this. Once I submit it, it goes from orange to green, which means that it has now been submitted. And I can now go and have a look in my inbox. So in my inbox, you'll see that I've received another new email, and this is the event registration form that I have just completed. So if I open this up, you'll see that it has all the information that I gathered, and I can also download a PDF copy of this document over here. So this will give me a PDF copy, and again, as the user, I can then print it or I can download it for my own use. Excellent. So moving on, the benefits of all this automation with no change to your systems in place, there are four main ones. The first one is you can extend your ERP lifespan. You can modernize documents and the integration capability without any changes to your existing systems. You can also automate, so you can utilize your existing data and all your configurations and systems to drive logic-driven modern communications. You can also include rich graphical content, so you can upgrade the look and the interactivity of your documents to modern standards. And lastly, flexibility. You have various input and output formats that you can work with, and this allows improvements to today's processes, but also a lot of innovation in the future. If you go ahead and you purchase our software, what type of support will you get? Four things. You will get project support. So we ourselves have experienced services available, or our partner network can assist you with scoping your requirements and implementing a project. Once everything is up and running, then you have general support. So this is through our software maintenance, and this provides technical support in local time zones. We also provide upgrades and updates to our software without any additional charges. So as long as you are covered by maintenance, you will get at least 2 new versions of the software every year. So you can rest assured that your software will always be up to date and always be innovative. And lastly, you have access to an e-learning portal. So this means that besides the training that we can offer face-to-face, well, depending on Corona, probably remote, but you can also visit the online learning portal and you can upskill your own staff. And if you have somebody new come along, they can just spend a day there and they can get started with the software. So that is a total overview of everything that is possible. If you have any questions, you have the contact information in the landing page where you are now, and I thank you.